What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In the last video we built this hammock mount and we also built the tire mount that goes with it. That way we can mount our hammock right behind the vehicle in the hitch receiver, or we can mount it to the side of our vehicle using the tire mount. I also built some really cool accessories for it. So if you hadn't seen that video, definitely go check it out. It's gonna help this video make a little bit more sense since we're using some of the same parts. So in today's video, we're gonna use a similar concept. We're just gonna build the hammock mount right into this cheap Harbor Freight hitch rack that I have. I think you can buy these for $60 or $70 brand new. You can also find them on Marketplace for $30, $40. So this really isn't an expensive project. So I hope you guys stick around. Be sure to subscribe if you hadn't done so already. Also be sure to sign up for the giveaway. I announced this in the last video, but I've paired up with Kutek. We're giving away 4 Kutek hammocks. And I'm also gonna give away one of the 3 hammock mounts that I've built. So be sure to sign up for that. Let's get into this build. One thing I wanna mention is the part we're gonna build for this rack. I have an idea of what will work. I'm not exactly sure, so the part might change quite a bit from the beginning of the video to the end. So definitely be sure to watch to the end of this video because I'm kind of learning as I go on this one. Not really sure how this is gonna work out. All right, so I think the plan is pretty simple. We're gonna end up making an angled bracket here that bolts onto this rail and then underneath here. So what we'll do up top is we'll have a piece of steel that comes off about 2 inches. 2 inches wide. I think I only need an inch and a half, but I want to make sure I have enough. So I'll do 2 inches here, and then we'll have an angled plate that goes from the edge of that 2 inches down to this corner edge here. So I'm going to go grab my flat bar and start getting it cut up, weld it up into the shape we need. Alright, we got really lucky because I only have a little over 16 inches of flat bar here. And I only need about 8 inches per bracket. So this is perfect. Alright, now we're going to make a cut at the 2-inch mark. We're going to take the 2 pieces that we cut, and these are going to go something like that. That way we can bolt through the top here. At the bottom we'll make another cut and weld. That way we can bolt it through the bottom here. But I think this 2-inch piece is going to be perfect to make any adjustments. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly tack this in place. And I should be able to figure out the angle pretty easily. Alright, for our pipe, what we have, this is a 12-inch section of 1.25" water pipe. We're going to cut the threads off of it, and then we're basically going to cut it in half. I only need like 4 or 5 inches of this, so let's get it cut down. Now that our pipe's cut, all we need to do before we can weld this thing up is just figure out this angle here. It'll probably be something like this, but we'll get it on the vehicle, we'll mock everything up, we'll put the poles in place that hold our hammock, and we'll fine tune this angle, and then we'll start welding everything up. Just weld in here and here. This is how I have everything mocked up. I'm just using some scrap wood here. It's just a little easier to clamp up than the steel pipe. I know it seems a little bit high right now, but once you put weight in it, it's going to come down, the poles will bend slightly, and also the suspension will droop a little bit. One change I made, I decided instead of having this overlap here, I'm going to weld it just across here on each side. And that way I have a little more angle. And what that's going to do is it's going to move the hammock over a little bit. That way if I have something in my rack, I don't have to move it out. And I'm not running into anything. So I think that's going to be perfect. So what we're going to do now is we're going to mark the angle that we have on each of our pieces of wood. We'll lightly tack in the 1.25" pipe on each bracket. And then we'll test it out using our steel poles. Once we know that that's right and it looks good, we'll weld everything in place. Alright, we got the angle marked. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our pipe that we cut. I've already taken the galvanized coating off of it. And basically we're going to tack dead center down here on our mark. Tack that in place just like that. Then we'll go double check everything, make sure that looks good. And then we'll start getting everything welded up. Lined up with that mark there. And then that mark right there. Ready to weld. I do want to mention that I ended up taking that bottom tab off. So if you saw that, just ignore that. At one point, I thought I might bolt this on. I'm not really sure why I was thinking about doing that, because once this is on, I have no plans on moving it. So I'm just gonna weld it on. So I'll remove that, and yeah, I just wanted to mention that. So I'm just gonna weld across the bottom and the top. I want to quickly mention that the support poles that I'm using to hold my hammock are the same ones I built in the previous video. This is just galvanized water pipe that you can find at the Lowe's plumbing section. All the pieces are 30 inches long. We have two pieces that are 1 inch, and then these are 3/4 inch by 30, and these just fit inside of each other. Just like that. We welded on little rings to act as stoppers, like that. And then on this end, I just welded on a tab, drilled a hole, and that's what I clipped the hammock into. All right, guys, I think that looks really good. Just have one tack weld on each bracket for now, just to make sure everything looks good. But I think the distance between the rack itself and where the hammock is will be perfect. Won't be any interference there. I'm happy with that. I think we're just going to go ahead and weld it up. I think that's going to be perfect. All right, our new brackets are all welded up. Let's go put it on the vehicle and see how it does. All right, let's test this thing out. Please don't break. It's all my weight. That's perfect. It does flex quite a bit more than I was expecting it to. I don't think anything's bending. I think the rack is just not as stiff as my first mount. And so things are just flexing a little bit. But hey, at least we know it works. This is great. There are a few modifications I think we can make to stiffen up the rack. And I want to make a couple other adjustments. I feel like I'm a little too far away from the rack, which is causing more flex than we need. But at least we know it works. I'm gonna add 50 pounds to the rack and see how that does. That's 50 extra pounds. I'm 180 pounds. Woo! Something's giving. Didn't like that. All right, it really didn't like that extra 50 pounds that I put on it. That's about 230 pounds total, and I could feel things starting to give, but I jumped up before anything broke. But I think there's some modifications that we can make to the rack to stiffen it up a lot more. So we'll make those modifications and then test it out in a little bit. I mean, it is a pretty cheap rack after all, so what do you expect? All right, this is gonna be much better. We have two pieces on each end. We have a few extra pieces welded in up front. Same on this side as well. And then we have some additional pieces down here, and here to tie that all together. This was originally bolted together here and here, but I welded all that up. Same with the front piece. It's all welded up now, so it's one solid piece. The only thing I'm going to do now, I think I'm going to bring this in a little bit. So this will come in maybe a ½ inch or so, and we'll see what it looks like there. But right now it's a little too far angled outwards. So we'll grind down, cut it, get it in place, and re-weld it. I decided to bring it in to 1.5 inches instead of 2 inches. So I'm going to cut and re-weld. All right, it's time to weld on our brackets. One slight change I made, I welded in 2 gussets here just to stiffen that up. I noticed this back plate was slightly twisted, which means that's flexing. So I think if I were to do this again, I would just make this back plate 1/4 inch steel, and I think that'd be fine. But it never hurts to over-engineer it a little bit if the part doesn't need to be lightweight, which it doesn't for this. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. All right. All that extra bracing should make a huge difference. All right, hopefully this is the last test we have to do. All right, oh man, yes. Immediate, huge difference. That is a really big difference. It's not nearly as squishy as it felt earlier. Yeah, that is a massive difference. Awesome. All right, let's go add some weight and see what it can hold. All right, this is 50 extra pounds, 230 total. This is what almost broke it last time. Let's see how she does. All right, that's all my weight. It seems really solid. Yep. The poles are flexing a little bit, but nothing seems to be bending or about to break like last time. All right, let's add 70 pounds. Let's see if it can hold 250. All right, we got 35-pound dumbbells. I need to be really careful doing this. 250 pounds total here. Here we go. All right, that's all my weight. 250 pounds. It seems really solid. This is awesome. Nothing seems to be flexing too much. The poles are flexing a little bit, but the rack seems to be holding solid. That's awesome. All right, that's enough testing. It holds 250 pounds. I think it could hold more, but I'm not going to try to test it any more than that. That's awesome. All right, I made these accessories for my previous hammock mount. I showed these in the last video. But what I built was a little stool that plugs right into where the hammock mount plugs into. And then we have a little camp table that just uses one of the support poles. This was custom made for my previous hammock mount. That's why the angle's a little bit off. This should sit flat. But just wanted to show it to you, just kind of get the wheels turning. If you think of any accessories that would be cool for this, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. But I really like the idea of having a stool and a little table. And you got your rack for storage. All right, guys, I hope y'all have enjoyed this build as much as I have. I really like the idea of having the hammock mount built right into this hitch rack. It's something I'm going to take on camping trips anyway. If y'all have any suggestions for this video or suggestions for a future video, please leave those in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. This really wasn't a hard build, so I definitely want to encourage you to try this one out for yourself. I want to thank Kutech for sending the hammocks for the giveaway. I'll have a link to the giveaway in the description below. Definitely go sign up for that. Now, as some of you know, we have one more hammock mount to build. Let me show you what I'm thinking. Yep, we're doing it. We're building a rooftop hammock mount. We already build rooftop tents on this channel, so it just makes sense. Be sure to subscribe so you're notified when this video comes out. We'll see you guys in the next video.